I'm always looking for the seam, see if I can see the angle of the seam, where the seam's bouncing, where it's actually bouncing on the seam, seeing if I can, pick up any cues that's going to help me. But once again, that's so dictated to by light.
A lot of people say you've got to watch the ball out the hand in terms of which way it shined, but it's easier said than done. Do you look for little tips like that, or angle of wrist
100%.
position, arm position, etc.? Does that come into your thought process?
100%, yeah. So subconsciously, you're always picking up little cues. So you're looking for the ball, you see the seam. I'm always looking for the seam, see if I can see the angle of the seam, where the seam's bouncing, where it's actually bouncing on the seam, seeing if I can, pick up any cues that's going to help me. But once again, that's so dictated to by light. Sometimes when it's really bright, the ball doesn't really reflect that well with the sun. Yeah, so I think any cues you can pick up as you're running in. Sometimes it's really hard to sort of. I try and watch the ball maybe early when he's running up to see if I can pick up any cues, wrist position, wrist angle, shiny side, rough side, depending on if it's reversing. And then the next point I'm sort of looking at is more delivery. So where the ball actually goes. I subconsciously don't think I try and watch the ball, through that part. I think I try and watch the ball here, and then I try and then switch my focus to release point.
And then would you ever look to bat outside your crease, change guard? Would you ever?
100%. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. Just depending on once again what the bowler's doing, what the ball's doing, and then just trying to play the numbers game really. So yeah, if Muhammad Abbas is coming in and he's trying to bowl straight and hit me on the pad, I know his mode of dismissal is LBW. So, you're batting out of your crease to try and eliminate that and put a bit of pressure back on him to say, well, how are you going to get me out now? Because LBW is almost out of the equation. So you just keep shifting the statistics of the game into your favour.
A few tips about actual playing swing bowling. A lot of people say see it early and play it late. If you can go a little bit deeper in your thought process about playing swing bowling.
What do I have for you? Probably one of the biggest things I learned over in England was swing bowling is probably to play with the angle of the swing. So I think as batters, we always get caught up in trying to play real straight, trying to play the ball back down the ground. And I think actually in England, you have to play the ball a bit squarer. You have to hit the ball more, through cover, through extra cover, with the angle of the swing if it's an outswinger, and then obviously the opposite way. If he's bowling in swing, you don't want to hit the ball down the ground. You want to hit the ball sort of to mid-wicket or to square leg with the angle of the swing.
Do you do any kind of work on your mental preparation?
You need a routine, and you need different things to do when you're under pressure, and understanding what you need to do to make sure it brings you back to the neutral, brings you back to the now, and it gives you an understanding
through that
of
routine that you mentioned.
Yep. So I do a different routine for different situations. So my probably more normal one is when the ball's bowled, I walk probably more when I'm under pressure. I would walk to sort of 45 backwards from the stumps, make a little mark on the ground, then walk back, scratch middle twice, tap the bat twice, and then tap the bat one more time, 3 times, and then sort of bend my knees a little bit as I bring the bat up to just relax my knees a little bit, and then have my hands in the right position. And then from there, that's sort of the routine part of it done. And then different times. So when I'm feeling like I'm going really well, I won't walk to 45. I'll then do some gardening on the pitch, or, do different things. But
before
when
you're
I
going
need to
out
go,
to bat, do you do anything to kind of calm the nerves? And does your preparation from the mental side change from, say, like the beginning of test week to that point when you're just about to actually walk out? Or do you always have?
I think whenever you're coming up against a big test, you always, this is just me, but you're always thinking about the bowlers. You're thinking about the bowlers, what they bowl, how you're going to play them, what you're going to do. I think, you know, whenever I have spare time, I'm not consciously standing there, you know, trying to envision it, but it's in there the whole time. It's ticking over, playing left arm spin. Where am I going to bat? What am I going to do? Playing Jofra Archer, you know, where he's angling the ball back at your pad, playing broad, coming wide of the crease, angling it in, playing Wokes, who's angling it away, bowling probably more back of it. Like those things are just churning away in your mind. And subconsciously at training, you're working at ways to figure those things out. Yeah, so I think that's the part that the mentally. So when you're sitting there waiting, you're just picking up that information by looking at the TV. You're going, yep, okay, that's doing that. Okay, yep, he's swinging it away, he's angling it back in, or whatever it is. And you're just gaining that information. So when you go out there, that you're ready to go.
What kind of things do you do to get yourself out of a mini rut, etc.? Do you have processes that you go through, etc., to kind of kick yourself back into form? If that's, you know, if that's even, you know, if there's actually a blueprint, is there a blueprint that you try and follow?
I think every batter knows that's played for long enough knows that the game can be very challenging sometimes. That the game can put you in a position where you'll start doubting yourself. The key is to just keep making sure you keep the game process driven, not results driven, and that's very hard because we all walk out there every day and we go, I want to get 100 today, and then the problem is in our game, everything under 100 is a fail. So you go out there and okay, well, I'm going to fail today. Instead of taking it more as a process and going, well, doesn't matter how many runs I get today, but am I staying true to the way I want to play and what I want to do? Am I reading the game? Am I understanding what's going on right now? Am I understanding what shots I can and can't play? Am I understanding where I want to hit this ball, what I want to do to this bowler? And then just playing that, you're not, and that's probably the biggest thing I've learned. I've learned to play less at my end and more at the other end. So instead of me trying to think about what I'm doing as a batter, I'm thinking about what the bowler's doing and then trying to maybe change what I'm doing to adapt to what he's doing. Where probably, if you asked me this 2 years ago, all the focus was on me. I was like, I've got to do this I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. And then I'd get out and I go, well, but he was doing this. I knew what he was doing. I had the vision 2 or 3 days before I was watching them bowl and I knew that's what he was doing. Why didn't I come up with a better plan? So I think that's probably the part where I would say that just, learning from the game and being able to play what's in front of you, not just trying to be, a technician and try and make sure you're doing things right all the time.